Alright, welcome back to the channel. Welcome some new subscribers. Had a few of those the last couple of weeks, been good. And I'm back with a GA70 Supra, 88 model, 1GG twin turbo, W58 5-speed, and we will be converting it to a 1JZ single turbo A340 auto stall converter. Some cams in the 1JZ, probably go with the Heltec ECU. Big fuel system, well, big enough to support the first lot of power we're going to throw at it. It is a built motor, or new motor, rebuilt. So yeah, let's get stuck into it, eh? First thing we're going to do is pull the motor out. It's pretty much scrap, and have a look at what we're dealing with. This looks pretty good under here. For how long it's been sitting, it doesn't look that bad. And the fact that it was supposedly flooded, well, that's the story anyway. So we're going to drain the fuel tank, drain the oil out of the gearbox, drain the oil out of the motor before we rip them both out. It's got a 3-inch exhaust. I think that'll do for now, even with the 1J conversion. Yeah, it looks pretty good. No rust in the body, which is, that's good. That's always a good stuff. Not sure about the Diff. I did go on the internet and have a look around. Apparently one of these is really weak and one is okay. So we'll find out which one that is. Got a funny feeling that might be the weak one, but who knows. And then obviously the tail shaft, we'll have to look at that. I've got a Supra, one of these, because this car's going to be auto instead of manual. And obviously have a 1J up the front instead of a 1GG. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm surprised. A lot less work than I thought. We'll just do a cat back, or cat forward I should say. Dump pipe off the single turbo 1J, and the rest should be pretty straightforward. Now I'll get the draining this stuff out and then we'll take it back down and pull the motor out. Has anyone ever noticed the extent that people will go to keep these plastic covers on their cars? Like zip ties and roofing screws, everything they can just to keep these stupid things on their cars. Look at this one. It probably would have been nearly dragging on the road. This little fucking contraption here. It's a lot of work to keep something that you don't even need on your car. Anyway, that's enough distractions. Let's get it off. Throw it in the fucking bin. I don't even know what that is. Okay, so just like the Toyota Camry wasn't meant to have a Toyota Camry engine and gearbox, it seems the Toyota Supra wasn't meant to have a Supra gearbox. That's the 3.8 drive. I can't get that in there. So I have to use a spanner. Like it's 1965. Maybe. Ratchets were around then, I suppose. Like it's 1945. Well, something. Water will be at the bottom. I'm guessing that's got some water in it. We'll find out in a second. Alright, I'm gonna put my money on water. $100 on water. Here we go. That was too much oil to come out of the filler plug. Yeah, look, water. I can see it already. Ugh. Oh, it stopped. Alright, stand back. I wonder if there's any more in there. That seems like the right amount of oil or the right amount of water. I mean, it's going to mix your water with the oil. That doesn't seem right. That's still going. So you can see water kind of mixed in with it there. And it's looking like someone gutted 1,000 caramel koalas. Anyway, we'll have to, if we're going to keep that box for something else, we'll have to pull that apart and see what it looks like inside. A bit of a shame, really. We're moving on to the Diff. See what's in there. I can't see where the breather was, so I don't know if it's got a breather on it. Oh, well, I mean, well, it will have, but where it goes, nobody knows. Can't see. Anyway, let's try that. See what surprises it holds. Well, doesn't look good, does it? Feels kind of weird just standing here waiting for this thing to take a crap. But kind of entertaining at the same time, right? It's like a train wreck. So, I betted myself $100 I won it, but it's gonna be interesting to see what sort of damage is done in there. This thing will probably need to be pulled down and rebuilt, I'd say. This is kind of ridiculous, actually. Like working at a retirement village. There we go. More caramel koala guts. And a lot of oil from the Gearbox. I think we're done here, finally. Well, when we check that out, we fill it up with some diesel, give her a big shake, wash it out, and then pull it apart. And yeah, some other time though with that. Let's move on to that Diff we were just talking about. So this thing was flooded a long time ago, like longer than 10 years ago. This thing still has water trapped in the tail shaft. Made its way in there, couldn't make its way out. Now, someone's got to remove the radiator, so that makes it a little bit easier, I guess. I got a 1JZ from a Supra which has a middle sump. Looking on the internet, it says that it'll fit in this cross member, but again, I'm going to say that that's 100% true, but we'll find out. It looks like it sits a lot lower than the 1J does in the Supra, so I don't think we'll be able to use those Supra mounts. Even though they'll be similar here because they're round, I don't think they're going to be the same at the top, but time will tell, I guess. Well, we did have a bit of water in the Diff, but not as bad as the Gearbox, so we'll have to see how that goes. Got to find out the ratio and everything of it anyway. I'll have to get this tail shaft out. Looks like I'll probably have to drop the exhaust. Maybe. Looks like a standard dump pipe and a nice rusty bolts. Most of this is going to be a grinder job, I think. But yeah, I'll have to have a look at that Diff, I guess. Check it out. Look at him, see what's in him. Make sure it doesn't rust anything out. Tail shaft's out. I don't know how that wasn't rusty. I guess it wasn't exposed to the air, but it's full of water. Anyway, there's plenty of water in the cart. Dump pipes. Yeah, had some decent amount of water sitting in it. Well, we've got everything else off. Speedo drive. Unplugged wires. I have to take the, I didn't want to, but I have to take the slave off to get to the line up there, because I thought it was a good idea to, anyway, put that in the way of that. So I'm going to take this off, because I'm by myself. I think we're going to pull the motor and gearbox out together. Isn't ideal, but be the easiest way, I think. So I'll undo this, and then I'm going to go up in the car and get the gearbox, this shifter, disconnected up there. I'll undo the engine mount down here first, and then we'll drop that gearbox cross member after we've done the shifter, and then I think we'll rip it out. A few more wires up there, and a bit more junk, fuel lines, crap like that. Alright, well, lucky for us, that was bolted in, or screwed in. Try and get in here without dying. I've gone to town with the black paint. What have we got in here? What have we got? 10, 4 10 mils? 3, one missing. 3. Ah, even easier. Let's get that out. Couple of layers of rubber there. That one, it's not going to come off. That's a rubber bush, isn't it? So it's stuck in there forever. Let's try not to rip it. Yeah, alright, there you go. So, after you remove the 7th rubber boot, you can finally get to the bolts. Should be able to get to those with the little rattle. Let's have a look. So, that did come out relatively easy after all them boots are out. Let's get the cross member off now, gearbox cross member, and then we'll move to the engine bay. Look, I'm not going to bet on this one. There's a 100% chance that there's water in this engine. I mean, that wasn't a dead giveaway. And that is. So I'm going to keep the power steering pump with the car for now, just till we work out what we can use with the JZ and what we can't, and work out what these lines are. It looks like 2 vacuum lines going down here. I don't know if that's part of the power steering or not. Who knows? But look, Toyota strikes again. There's no way in the world you get a ratchet in there. You just go with the old spanners. I'm guessing all their service centres back in the day just had spanners. Ratchets weren't allowed. Just had a huge toolbox just full of different length metric spanners. Get you by. This thing is filthy though. Can't wait to give it a big clean. Well, this is actually an improvement, isn't it? I had 2 broken engine mounts, so undoing those bottom bolts was a waste of time. They just fell apart. See the water line there? Anyway, it's out. Look at that. Wasn't as heavy as I thought it was. Managed to get enough angle to get it out. Did have to manhandle that dump pipe a little bit, but I didn't want to deal with those rusty bolts to try and get it out. So there we are, no casualties. We did have a Klingon, as always. It was this vacuum hose. Well, fish tank hose. They've used as vacuum hose. Got caught under the chain. Held the motor in, believe it or not. Alright, we're gonna have some lunch. some parts have arrived for the other Toyota I've got to fix today, so I have to get back to this one. Well, I got the gearbox off that, and there was a nice little surprise inside there. It wasn't what you were thinking. Cute little button clutch, ceramic clutch in there. Not bad, not bad. So the engine bays had a quick wash. We've got this intercooler out. It's been in there since it was flooded, obviously. Check out these fancy brackets. This one's single piece. Well, I think this started off as angle, like racking, Dexagon racking or something. You can see they just folded it over. It's pretty cute. Pretty sharp still. I don't know what's going on here. The intercooler piping just went in the original spot there and over there. We'll see how far forward how much engine bay room there is once the 1J's in. We'll see if we can run the intercooler pipes back up there. That way we don't have to cut the body or anything. There, no more high tide mark. Engine bay's a little bit ratty, but it still looks right. We'll see how we go. I think that's going to the scrap pile. Probably not worth it now. It's been corroded for too long. Definitely start to eat away at the alloy. Alright, release some, release some. More scrap. Would you just look at this? I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna pull it apart and find out. I just want to look at it. Alright, so it was as stupid as it looks. It was just a spacer. And no, it was just spacing it because I never grinded to cut this bolt down. Well, I couldn't be bothered finding the right fastener. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this is rubbish. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. Not worth the risk. With a brand new turbo, fully built motor. Put on an old crusty intercooler. So I guess I had to buy an intercooler. Well, it does seem like this is the engine loom. You can see that on the driver's side, the loom runs down for the headlights and everything. So that's a good indication that this should just be for the engine. there's a lot of little add-ons. Some speaker wire there. Maybe they had some speakers in the engine bay. There's an alarm, it looks like. A few little random bits to be expected. I'm going to try and salvage this. I'll have to pull it apart and see if any water's stayed inside it or been inside it. But I'm going to go inside now and see if we can trace this loom. How much of the car we've got to pull apart just to get to it. Okay, on first inspection, it seems we'll have to disassemble the whole dash to get the glove box off. You know, because that's what you want. I'm thinking there's some screws down here, maybe that one. They just look like covers, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, I couldn't even get away with pushing the sides in there. It's just too big. I guess they want us to pull half the car apart. As much as I'd love to have used a grinder in here to get this glove box out, I've got myself the trusty Zito drill. I don't think the best precision tools. This one's hiding somewhere. Alright, that's not how you get the glove box out. Anyway, keep going. That'll be in the way. See, that's had plenty of water in it. Alright, so the glove box came out. 3 screws down the bottom there, hiding under that trim. Put it on a weird angle, get it out, get the stupid pins out. And then I still can't see where the harness comes through the firewall. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy because this does have a Toyota badge on it. So I'll get a light and have a look, but maybe it's dash out, heater box out, all that sort of stuff. Fun and games. GT twin turbo. Had like 200 horsepower. The flywheel. Well, we found the ECU, and it was above the waterline, I think. Somebody in Toyota land might want that. Maybe. They don't want the motor by the looks of it. Nobody wanted 1GG, do they? Comment below that you want the 1GG before it goes to scrap. Well, ECU is out on the floor. It disappears. I don't know if you can see. Somewhere back there, it goes up above the heater box and then out there, because I didn't want to run it right through that gap. So they've put it over the top of the heater box and then out there. So I'm going to go back out and have an attempt at ripping this through the firewall. That may or may not work. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to pull the dash out. Literally just too many hours work. So I'm just going to cut the harness. I'm not going to use any of this harness anyway and just put the Heltec harness through the hole and go from there. Look, my money's on probably hacking this thing to pieces. It's not looking good. Like I said, I couldn't promise anything. I promise it's going to come out. Right, so first major setback is we can't get the harness out without maybe removing the dash, at least the heater box. Well, you can't get the heater box without removing the dash. So what I think the best plan is, I pull out the cluster and the rest of the cluster just there, and we see if we can get to the harness, like back that way, so we can't disconnect it from whatever it's stuck to or however it's fastened to the heater box or whatever's going on there, where the heater box is jamming it against the firewall, which that would seem like the normal Toyota thing to do, especially since there's a perfect hole to just go right through there. I can see outside, but the harness doesn't go through there. It goes up and over the top of the heater box. That's probably, maybe it's connected somewhere, maybe it has another connector here for the instrument cluster, so maybe it goes up over the heater box, joins somewhere here, or has a plug, and then goes back out. So ECU to a bit of loom and then back out. Maybe that's where it's holding on. So I have to piss this off. I'll try not to break anything. let's try to pull this out and not break anything. Or we'll have to buy another whole Supra just to fix this one up. Anyway, sounds like fun, doesn't it? Alright. So I was just thinking I have to get this E-boost out of the way. And, you know, I look at it, I was like, how did they get those screws up there? I couldn't feel anything on the back. I was thinking, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe a job for the grinder. And then I touched it and, man, bit of glue. Yeah, they've glued over the holes. That's right. They've glued over the part where the screwdriver goes in. How good's that? Just when you thought you shouldn't use a grinder inside a car. So I managed to get that out of the way, cracked some of the plastic off, or the glue off, and then unscrewed it. Not too much damage there from the screw. Not sure what's going on here. Started to pull these screws out. There's lots of cracks in this dash, so it's going to be really hard to get this out without causing any more damage. I mean, I'm going to do my best. You can see down here, even the white part of the cluster, the white plastic's just falling apart. Tires weren't really built to be outside of the factory or driven on the road, so a lot of the plastics, they really just fall apart. This has not helped us. Everything's in the back. I managed to get it out without breaking anything. Yeah, not going to get there. So even if there was a way to get it out like that, I can't get to it. I'm just going to get a pry bar, I think, and try and pull that harness down from above there and see what happens. I just gave it the old heave-ho and just ripped on it as hard as I could, and here we are, boys and girls. I think it's going to come out. You know, famous last words, hey? Let's have a look. Let's see if it's winner, winner, chicken dinner. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Fucking A. There we go. It's much better looking. This fucking speaker wire go. For the alarm. Maybe someone had, you know, Toyota broke down so many times, they put a speaker out here so they can listen to music while they're fixing it. Look, got to do my 1GG head gasket again. Had 10 pounds of boost in it. Decided to shoot the bed. Anyway, that's out. Look at that. Whew. Made no sense for it to be up there. Maybe, I don't know. I can't see that. It doesn't look like someone's pulled it out and jammed it up there. It looks like that's just where they put it. In the factory. Because they're like, hey, how can we mess with everybody? Because we're dickheads. Anyway. Let's move on to the next thing. What was the next thing? What was the next thing? Got a clean engine bay. Well, you know, it's not filthy anymore. We've got to drain that fuel tank, but I'm scared to do that. I might push it out in the yard. That's going to be just full of water. Full of water and full of rust. So we need to buy an intercooler because that one's stuffed. Fuel pressure reg looks good. There's no water in it, so you might be able to salvage that. We've got to look at these engine mounts. We're going to get the motor in here first, I guess. So that wraps it up for the engine bay for now. That kind of wraps it up for in here as well. I might just leave that out for now, just in case I've got to do some wiring in there afterwards. Might need to trace some wires or something, so we'll just leave that looking all shitty for now. And move on to the next thing, which actually I don't know what we're going to do. We have to go get the motor. Okay, I'm going to keep this harness in the keep for now pile, just because I might need some of those plugs that go, I guess, to the cluster. I may need those just to make it easier to get any of those gauges wired up. But otherwise I will have to pull the whole dash apart. That's going to be it for this video. Till the next one. Need to go get the motor, gearbox, find an intercooler. I've kept the W58 gearbox crossmember. We're using an A340. You know, you might be able to use it, might be able to fab off it. Engine mounts, I may have someone who has some 1J engine mounts for this chassis. I have read that there's a couple of different cross members, but I don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, we're going to work that out next, and that'll be the next video. Oh, draining that fuel tank. We're going to drain that fuel tank. That's going to be good. You have to see that. I reckon there's going to be just a ton of water and rust in it. It's full. When the battery's hooked up, the fuel gauge shows full. It sounds full. I reckon it's going to be just full of corroded water, all the rest of it. It's going to be disgusting. Probably not as bad as the gearbox. The gearbox was pretty, that was pretty gross. So yeah, until then, subscribe if you haven't already. Like the videos, that's important as well. And share, you know, if you know anybody who's into crappy cars like us, get them to subscribe, get them to check it out. All right, stay stupid.